Monday reaction with Roni, and Arsenal have beaten Wolverhampton Wanderers 2-1 at the Emirates Stadium. Very important win for Arsenal. 2-1 doesn't sound like it was comfortable. We were superb for the first 20 to 30 minutes or so. And then, unfortunately, in the back end of the second half, we just allowed Wolves to have a couple of more opportunities. And we were quite a few times a little bit sloppy at the back, mostly Zinchenko, and that obviously allowed Wolves to get back into the game. Unfortunately, Arsenal obviously had opportunities in the game. The likes of Trossard and Jesus and Martinelli had opportunities to score, and also hitting the post twice. Declan Rice having good shots outside of the box that wasn't quite on target. But yeah, I'm satisfied with that first 30 minutes performance. A little bit annoyed that we couldn't get that third goal, and that was obviously a theme last season and something that came up now in some of the games this season where we were in a situation of 2-1 or 2-0 and then conceding. I think Forest comes to mind, the opening day of the season, where we just weren't able to get that third goal. Sometimes a two-goal lead should be fine, a 2-0 performance should be fine. We've had a couple of 2-0s, one in the Champions League and in the league, and a 3-1 as well. So, yeah, disappointing to concede that goal on a weekend where it was very, very exciting on the Sunday, especially with Liverpool getting, I wouldn't say, yeah, I would say a fortunate 4-3 win, four Golazo goals from them. But Fulham really took it to them, and it just shows you once again that on their day, some of these teams that's, let's say, between 8th and 15th can really cause you all sorts of problems, even the lower teams, to be fair. And then obviously Man City and Tottenham drawing. So Arsenal actually gained another a lead point, if you can call it that. So we are now 2 points clear after this weekend, with last weekend it being 1 point clear. So obviously it could have been three, but Liverpool obviously getting that result, whether it would have been a draw for drop points or a loss. But there we go. Arsenal obviously started once again really well. It was actually the first time in the Premier League that we were able to score two early goals. So that's normally around about the first 15 minutes when we talk about early goals. So the first time last season we did that quite a lot, and this season this was the first game where we were able to get a goal within the first 15 minutes, and then it ended up obviously being two goals. So two excellent goals. Once again, Jesus was absolutely key in the build up to those goals. He obviously didn't score or get an assist, but he was absolutely vital in the play for those two goals. A fantastic first goal from Saka, that passes that Jesus tends to make in the box when he has his trickery and his movement ability in the box to try and shimmy defenders either left or right, and that is really a clever striker, and that is absolutely perfect for this formation. The problem is keeping fit, and the other problem is whenever someone else comes up, what are they actually doing? Because I was just thinking of Nketiah once again, the Sheffield game, getting a hat trick in that game, and then all the performances after that has just not been great, and it's not the standard that we need, especially when Jesus has to either come off. So that is something to look at in terms of a problem going forward, whether Jesus gets rested or injured. That is something that we have to, I don't know how we're going to address that. Obviously, Nketiah needs to step up, and he hasn't since the hat trick when we were hoping that he would now push on, and that's why there's so many misconceptions on him in terms of what he actually brings. He obviously brings a lot of work rate, which is key, especially at the back end of a game. But yeah, that is just a concern for me in terms of the quality when he comes on and what we need at certain times of the game. Yes, the work rate is key, because you probably need that at certain points of the game, but we need quality, and there was quite a number of instances in each game that he has played since the Sheffield game. We had opportunities to either get a good pass or do a little bit better with regards to his finishing. Arsenal obviously also hit the post twice. Declan Rice had a couple of good shots outside of the box, and Jesus and Trossard had opportunities as well. So we could have, I think we should have been 4-0 up at halftime. So not even that third key goal, but that we should have been about 4-0 up at halftime. And then Zinchenko, a couple of mistakes in the first half. That's mostly, it's not because of Wolves pressing Arsenal. It's just a concentration issue. I don't know why that is. He's one of the more experienced players, league winner with Man City. So that part is extremely disappointing, but it's something that happens quite regularly. His attacking play was superb going into midfield, going into the final third. His passing was decisive. He created opportunities for players. So, very difficult to give him a bad rating, for example, because of that. However, the miss I wouldn't call it miscommunication, but just the not concentrating really. The concentration level's not there, and that allowed Wolves to get the goal, and then it just suddenly became a little bit spicy at the back end of this game. Cunha scoring a very good goal, Mateus Cunha. Beginning of the season, he couldn't hit a barn door, and he looked threatening at times. I must just stress out that Arsenal were very comfortable for most of this game. Let's say 90% of this game, and a very unnecessary goal to concede, and that just took the gloss off it because it was a really good performance. Let's say for most of that first half. But for some reason, the second half just we couldn't get going, and then the substitution. So that's also something that concerns me, especially in a month where there's a couple of really difficult games to come. That block of three, I know we have to first look at Luton tomorrow night. Luton away, they did get a draw against Liverpool. They are playing much better at home at the very least, and we have to be wary of them tomorrow night. But obviously, if we play that relatively quick tempo, I wouldn't say we have to be playing rock and roll football, that high intense game. However, if we control the game, get our guys into spaces, we should be fine. We should win by two clear goals tomorrow night. However, the guys that does come on, what are they actually giving to the game? And that is going to be the key thing this entire month, looking at the month as a whole. So it's Luton tomorrow night, and then three really difficult games. Aston Villa away, we know how they play at home. It's going to be an absolutely crazy game. And then the following week, Brighton, and then Liverpool away from home. So those are key games, and then we can't discount the West Ham home game after that and the Fulham away game. So it's a very tricky month, especially with Fulham's performance against Liverpool yesterday. That's going to be a very difficult game. They already did get a draw at the Emirates. That was mostly with Arsenal's mistakes in that game and poor team selection, but that's also coming later on this month. So the guys that's coming in, that's going to be important. Another injury also for Arsenal, Tomiyasu, who's been absolutely superb. He was brilliant in the first half, brilliant against Lens on Wednesday. He now again has seemingly again a calf problem. That's like the fifth time that he has got a calf issue. And normally he doesn't come back quickly from that. So that is a huge concern. Arsenal are starting to become short at the back. We don't use Cedric at all. We haven't really got good defenders coming through the system. I know there's Rule Walters, but he has got a concentration issue. He's quite a big guy for his age. However, he's got a concentration problem, and he's part of Arsenal teams that's consistently conceding. When it comes to youth football, we have more good attacking midfielders and wide forwards in the Arsenal youth setup rather than defenders, any good defenders coming through. So we all know that Timber's going to be out for the majority of the season, if not the entire season. There's conflicting reports when it comes to that. Ben White is currently carrying a niggle, and it's maybe more than a niggle. Saliba and Gabriel are constantly playing, so somewhere along the line they need to rest. Kivio looks relatively good, and when I say relatively, he doesn't play enough for us to be able to see progress there, but he does do a job when he's playing. And then obviously Zinchenko's concentration problems, and he does have fitness problems at times. So we are actually short at the back, and it's possible if Arsenal can only do one signing that we are probably only going to bring in a defender. It's going to be interesting to see how this month goes and where Arsenal end up. And the most important thing is that yes, that team, let's say the 12 players are in decent form. And when I say 12 players, I'm talking now about Rice or Trossard. If you combine the two teams that played on Wednesday and today. So we do have players on the bench, but they don't play enough. And when they do come on, it's a little bit hit and miss with regards to the likes of Nketiah and Nelson. So they are going to be key. They're going to have to step up with assists and goals in this month. So maybe they need to play on tomorrow night with the likes of two of Saka, Martinelli, and Jesus on the bench, possibly, because we do have consistent big games coming up, or bigger games. So obviously, his squad management is going to be important from Arteta. I actually don't know how he's going to do it because Nketiah and Nelson aren't really over a large period of time within a game doing the business, especially once again the front three they play a bit more, or they play so much more than them. So it's a difficult one to call it. The main thing that's going in my head now is that we need the guys that's off the bench. They need to come and make an impact. Vieira won't be there for the rest of the month. Smith Rowe won't be there for the rest of the month. Thomas Partey might make it, either after the Brighton game, or well, at the Brighton game or the Liverpool game, or he might not make it the whole month. There's actually no real talk about when he will be back. And then we basically have El Neni and Jorginho in the 6 role, so maybe they can play there with Rice in the 8. I don't think you can rest Rice now at this moment. Maybe you can rest Rice for tomorrow's game, and then he has to play for all the other games, because I think it's actually 5 really tough games after Luton. uh, Aston Villa away, Brighton home, Liverpool away, West Ham very shortly after that, Liverpool at home, and then very shortly again after that, Fulham away. So it's going to be a squad game this month. I'm just a teensy bit worried, especially with the fact that Tommy Yasso is also out and Ben White is carrying something. So there might be a situation that if Tommy Yasso is out for longer than a week, or even the entire month, then it's possible we might be seeing Cedric sometime this month, because again, like I said earlier, there isn't really defenders coming through from our youth ranks. So yeah, we actually gained a point, so we are two clear now at the top. Very happy with that. Just in terms of the team, yeah, it's only now Tommy Yasso that's possibly added to a semi lengthy list. We would have needed Vieira and Smith Rowe this month, but unfortunately they won't be there. So it's more going to be the likes of sixes, so El Neni and Jorginho, that has to come into midfield, and then obviously Rice either gets maybe rested or he plays in the 8 role in this month, just to change it up in that midfield. Obviously, you've got the likes of Havertz and Trossard that's been playing the left 8. Trossard wasn't really effective in the 2 games. I really wanted to see how he goes there, but in these tough games coming up this month, I don't think we're going to play Trossard in the left 8. It's going to be mostly Havertz uh, in that left 8 position, or it will be Declan Rice in the left 8 with El Neni and Jorginho playing as the 6. Yeah, and then up front, Saka getting back to his best. Really good performance from him. I thought he was excellent. Odegaard making those key passes. He obviously didn't get to make those key passes. Still works hard, but he's has been a little bit off it. However, he was man of the match in this game, so he was absolutely superb. Very happy with him. Very happy with Jesus. Martinelli a little bit profligate in terms of. He got into some good positions to score on Saturday against Wolves, so he needs to up it in terms of his goal scoring. It's not enough so far this season from Martinelli, but he does play well. He gets into great positions. It's just that final part that's not quite there. I was hoping that he would actually go into another level, maybe in the second half of the season, but in terms of the goal scoring, scoring goals regularly, that's what needs to improve there. Yeah, Odegaard is now back to scoring regularly, 2 in 2. And then from a defensive standpoint, the concern about Tomiyasu and the fact that Ben White has had a knock recently. And then also there's no real there isn't a deputy for Zinchenko. If Tomiyasu's out, we obviously got rid of Tierney, and Kivior is unconvincing in the left back position. Same as unconvincing as Gabriel is when uh, uh, we tried to play him at left back. So that's also going to be interesting. I hope we don't play Havertz at left back sometime this month. That's coming. Watch out for that. So yeah, we're 2 points clear at the top. Elated with that. It could have been more, because Liverpool and City were in trouble at times in terms of even losing those games. But City ended up getting the draw against Tottenham, against a depleted Tottenham, so that's a big result for them. And then obviously Liverpool getting the win over Fulham. I think Liverpool have winnable 2 games away from home. I think it might be Sheffield, who is going to have a new manager. and then they are away to Crystal Palace. That might be a trickier one, but again, Crystal Palace up and down, especially with the when they do create opportunities, they don't put them away. So I do expect Liverpool to get six. I'm very concerned about that Aston Villa game. So hopefully we get the job done against Luton, and then we can get Aston Villa get to that game. That's going to be a very exciting game. That is Aston Villa at home to Arsenal. Aston Villa are superb at home. I do believe that Aston Villa is playing Man City as well. I'm not sure if that's this week. This week, I think they might be playing them on Wednesday. So interesting stuff. Let's get that 3 points against Luton. A good win against Wolves. Obviously, we would have wanted to be a bit more comfortable, but 2 points clear. And Luton tomorrow night next. Come on, you Gunners.
Cadence.